starts way, way back in like 1696 in Salem. There's this guy writing about this coven of witches doing some seriously messed up devil stuff in the woods. Their whole goal is to basically birth a demon baby through one of the local women. The leader, this witch named Margaret Morgan, is the absolute worst of them. So then, bam, we jump to today. It's Monday, and we meet our main girl, Heidi. She's this cool DJ at a local rock station, and she's just moved into this old apartment building. Right away, weird stuff starts happening. She goes to get the paper, and she's sure she sees someone in apartment 5. But the room is supposed to be totally empty. So she asks the landlady, Lacey, about it, and Lacey's like, nope, nobody's in there. Heidi insists she saw someone, so Lacey goes to check, and get this, the door is locked from the inside. So creepy. Later that night, Heidi's at the radio station, and there's this weird wooden box waiting for her at reception. She has no clue who sent it. Inside is this old vinyl record, and the only thing on it is the words, "The Lords." She takes it home, and her coworker, Herman, is with her. Herman tries to play the record, and nothing happens. But when Heidi puts the needle on it, it starts playing instantly. And the music is just bizarre. It's this droning, horrible sound. The second she hears it, she has this insane vision. She sees those same witches from the beginning, and they're doing this ritual, and they rip a baby out of this woman, but the baby is normal, so they just kill it right there. It's so messed up. Herman sees her freaking out and turns the music off. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she's just totally drained, saying she needs to sleep. So Herman leaves, and as Heidi walks to her room, she feels like something is in the apartment with her, but she just tries to ignore it. So the next day, this author Francis comes on her show. And guess what his book is about? The Salem Witches. So they're all talking, and they decide to play the weird record on the air. Herman even gives it a name. He calls the track The Lords of Salem. The second it starts playing, Heidi starts losing it again. She hits the mute button on her mic, but she can still hear the music clear as day in her head. After the show, Francis is super intrigued. He's like, "Where did you get that record?" But she has no idea. He goes home and finds out his wife recorded the whole show, so now he has a copy of the creepy music to research. Heidi gets back to her apartment, and Lacey, the landlady, is there with her 2 sisters, Sunny and Megan. They're these 2 old ladies, and they're all friendly and weird, and they're like, "Oh, Heidi, come sit with us, have some tea."
Like, "Hold on,
and she's
my
like,
dog's hungry." So she goes to her room first, and while she's feeding the dog, this freaky ghost woman is just standing right behind her, but Heidi doesn't even notice. So she goes back down to hang with the old ladies, and one of them, Megan, is like, "Ooh, let me read your palm." But then she gets all serious and starts being super rude, telling Heidi she needs to get her mind right. It's super weird, so Heidi just gets up and leaves. Later that night, the dog is going crazy, barking at apartment 5 again. And then, the door just creaks open all by itself. So of course, Heidi goes in. The door slams shut behind her. She sees this glowing red cross on the wall and just gets totally mesmerized. And then this thing, this horrible demon creature comes out of the shadows. Then she sees the head witch, Margaret Morgan, and the witch is basically like, "I want your baby." And then Heidi wakes up screaming. It was all a nightmare, or was it? The next day is even crazier. She's in a church, and the priest suddenly gets all demonic and tells her she's doomed. Then she blinks, and he's just like, "Oh, you fell asleep." She's totally losing it. She runs outside and sees this creepy dude with a goat, and then he just vanishes. Meanwhile, Francis, the author dude, is doing his own digging. He finds a super old diary from the guy who originally hunted the witches. And get this, the diary calls them the Lords of Salem and says when the head witch Margaret was being burned alive, she put a curse on the town. And at the end of the diary, there's sheet music. Francis plays it, and it's the exact same creepy song from Heidi's record. So Francis tracks down some expert who read the original diary, and the guy spills the beans. The curse is that one day a descendant of Salem will give birth to the devil's child. Back with Heidi, she's telling Herman how the music is making her sick, and then she starts coughing up blood. It's a total disaster. Herman freaks out and tries to call an ambulance, but then Heidi sees these shadowy figures appear behind him. One of them just touches Herman, and he drops dead just like that. Then they grab Heidi and start doing some kind of freaky surgery on her. They pull this disgusting bug monster thing out of her stomach, and then she wakes up again. She has no idea what's real and what a nightmare anymore. Her mind is completely scrambled. So she starts doing drugs just to try and cope. So it's Friday, she's all high, and there's a knock at the door. It's the 3 creepy old landlady sisters, and she Francis
just lets
is
them
digging
right in.
into Heidi's past, and he finds out her real name is Idlehyde, and get this, her family line goes all the way back to one of the original Salem witches. She's the one from the curse. He totally panics and tries to call her, but Megan, one of the creepy old ladies, answers the phone and is just like, Wrong number, and hangs up on him. Back at the apartment, Heidi is completely out of it, and the three sisters are carrying her to apartment 5. Lacey paints that same weird symbol from the record box onto the door, they all do a creepy chant, and the door just swings open. And the inside? It's not a normal apartment anymore. It's this insane, grand hall like a palace from hell. And at the end of it is that same demon creature from Heidi's nightmare. Heidi just walks towards it like she's in a trance. A weird mark appears on her forehead, just like the witch's head, and she just grabs onto the demon's tentacles. Then, just as weirdly, the door opens and she comes back out looking totally normal. The three sisters are so happy they tuck her into her bed, and you can see the demon creature is just lying there next to her. The next day, she doesn't remember a thing. Herman calls about a big show they have that night, but she just blows him off. Lacey, the landlady, is watching her like a hawk. Then Francis shows up at the apartment to warn her, but Lacey meets him at the door and lies, saying Heidi isn't home. She invites him in to wait, and then the three sisters just start interrogating him. He tells them he knows about the record and has important information for Heidi. That was a big mistake. The sisters just attack him. Sonny stabs him in the head with a pen over and over until he's dead. It's so brutal. Later that night, Herman comes to pick Heidi up for the show. The old ladies try to stop him, but he just pushes past them and goes to her own. Heidi comes out, but Lacey makes her tell Herman to wait outside. He's super confused, but she just shuts the door in his face. So Herman is waiting outside, and inside, the show starts. But it's not a normal show. The three sisters are on stage chanting to the devil, and then the 7 original witches just appear behind them. The creepy music starts playing, and the whole audience just walks onto the stage like zombies. And Heidi, she's transported to some other dimension. The witches are all around her doing a ritual, and she gives birth to the devil's child. It's this horrible little monster. The witches are all celebrating, and Heidi just dies right there. But then we see her again. She's standing on a massive pile of dead women's bodies, and she looks like some kind of dark goddess. A news report comes on saying 32 women were found dead at the venue, but Heidi's body is missing. So, Margaret's curse came true. The devil was born, the daughters of Salem were sacrificed, and Heidi, she's not dead. She's become a witch herself, a new goddess for them to worship.
It starts in this tiny town called Wilson, right? Everything is super normal. People are just living their lives, no big deal. But then one night, bam, something falls out of the sky and crashes in the woods. It's super small, so nobody really knows what's up. Anyway, there's this one rich dude named Grant. He's kind of old, but he's married to this way younger woman, Starla, and they're usually all lovey-dovey. But tonight, they get into this huge fight. So Grant gets all pissed off and just leaves. He ends up at a bar and meets this girl, Brenda, and they just drink all night. Later, they're stumbling through the woods, and get this, Grant finds the thing that crashed. He gets all curious and goes to check it out. He leans in close and then zap! This little needle thing shoots out of it and stabs him right in the chest. He totally collapses. He's in so much pain. It's really messed up. Brenda is just standing there completely freaking out. And you can see this gross slug thing crawl out of the needle and go right into his body. A second later, Grant just pops back up, but his eyes and nose are bleeding and he's looking around all weird. It's a total disaster. They both just kind of go home after that. So the next morning, things get even crazier. Starla feels bad about the fight and comes to say she's sorry. He's like, whatever. And then she leaves and he starts doing all this weird stuff. First, he goes out and buys just like a mountain of raw meat. Then he comes home and this is the worst part. He kills their dog. After that, he goes down to the basement and locks the door. Starla finds the locked door and is totally confused. She's like, why is the basement locked? And he just goes, oh, I'm just planning a surprise birthday party for you. But surprise, he's not. An alien has totally taken over his mind and body. You can even see his skin getting all gross and messed up where the needle hit him. And then these 2 giant freaky tentacles that look like snakes just burst out of his chest.
Monster.
It's
the alien part of him
insane.
totally wants to infect Starla and make her a monster too, but he just can't do it. It's like the real Grant is still in there somewhere fighting back, which is kind of sad, right? So instead, he goes over to Brenda's house, you know, the girl from the bar, and he sticks those 2 gross tentacles right into her stomach. He's basically pumping her full of alien goo. It's super messed up, and obviously she's in a ton of pain. Meanwhile, Grant is looking worse and worse. His face is all swollen and weird. Starla sees him, and she's like, dude, you seriously need to see a doctor. But he's totally losing his mind. He's hallucinating and thinks he just got stung by some bees and that everything is fine. Total denial. And then all the pets in the neighborhood start disappearing.
And it turns out that goo he injected into Brenda, it was full of alien eggs. So now Brenda is just starving. Like, she cannot stop eating. That's why Grant was stealing all the animals he was feeding her. So the cops, led by this guy Bill, start looking for the missing Brenda. They go talk to Starla, and Bill kind of spills the beans that Grant was with Brenda that night. Starla is completely shocked. She had no idea her husband was cheating on her, let alone that he's turning into a monster. Right after the cops leave, Grant shows up, and he doesn't even look human anymore. He's a full-on slimy tentacle monster. Starla completely freaks out and calls the cops back. Grant attacks her, screaming that she's a liar or something. Just then, the cops bust in, and Grant just takes off, escaping into the night. Now it's a full-on monster hunt. The cops figure out Grant is behind all the missing animals. Bill thinks he knows where Grant will go next, this farmhouse owned by a guy named Otis and his family. So Bill and his guys go stake out the place, ready for a fight, and sure enough, Grant shows up, looking even more monstrous than before. He grabs a cow or something and the cops jump him, but Grant is crazy strong now. He literally grabs one of the cops and just rips him in half. It's insane. And then he escapes again. He runs to this barn where he's been hiding Brenda. The cops and Starla are hot on their trail, and when they get inside, you are not ready for this. Brenda is huge. She's swollen up like a giant, disgusting balloon because of all the alien eggs inside her. And right as they get there, she just explodes. It's a total disaster. Thousands of these little alien slugs fly out everywhere. They're trying to crawl into everyone's mouths to turn them into alien zombies, just like Grant. Bill and Starla manage to cover their mouths, so they're safe. But the slugs get the entire Otis family, the dad, the mom, the other kids. The only one who makes it is the oldest daughter, Kylie, who actually feels one crawling into her mouth and yanks the slimy thing out just in time.
Slugs don't just kill you, they plug you into this weird alien hive mind. And Kylie, the daughter who escaped, she got a peek inside their brains for a second. So when she snaps out of it, she sees her whole family are now just mindless alien zombies. They try to get her too, but she makes a run for it. She gets outside and Bill grabs her, and they just see the whole town as a disaster. The slugs are everywhere, crawling into people and turning them into more zombies. And Kylie, she spills the beans. She's like, I know their whole deal. The slug in Grant is the main one, the big boss, and all the others are just connected to him. So she tells them if you kill the main Grant monster, all the other little zombie slugs die too. If not, they'll just take over the whole planet. So the new plan is simple. Kill Grant, who, by the way, is getting bigger and even more messed up. His arms and legs are all long and stretched out, so they start calling him the Long One. So creepy. But here's the crazy part. The monster Grant is still totally in love with Starla. The human part of him is still in there somewhere. So later, while Bill and Starla and Kylie are trying to get away, they crash their car. And Grant shows up, grabs an unconscious Starla, and carries her back to their house. She wakes up on their bed, and he's done her makeup. He's trying to make her pretty for him. It's so messed up. The house is a total wreck, and then she hears all these people calling her name. She looks around, and it's all the zombie townsfolk, but they're all speaking with Grant's voice. She goes downstairs, and you will not believe what she sees. Grant isn't just one monster anymore. He's this giant, disgusting blob monster made out of all the people he's absorbed. He's so huge, he's filling up the entire living room. But Starla came prepared. She's got this sharp piece of metal, and she is ready to fight. The giant Grant blob tries to attack her, but she plays it cool. She starts talking all sweet to him like, "Oh, Grant, I'll always be with you, baby." He totally buys it and relaxes for a second, and then bam, she stabs him right in the head, but it does absolutely nothing. He's way too powerful now. He gets super mad and is about to kill her for real. But just then, Bill bursts in to save the day. He tries to fight the monster, but he's no match for it. The monster shoots out its two tentacles. It stabs Bill with one, but get this, it only works if both tentacles hit you at the same time. So Bill grabs the other free tentacle, shoves the nozzle of a propane tank on it, and just starts pumping the monster full of gas. As Grant is bloating up like a giant gas-filled balloon, Starla pulls out a gun and shoots him. Kaboom! The whole thing explodes in a massive fireball. The main alien brain bug inside gets totally torched. And since Grant is dead, all the other alien zombies in town just drop dead instantly. The whole nightmare is finally over, but man, the whole town is basically gone. Total craziness from beginning to end.